they'd seen something that we couldn't see. But incredibly, the thermal camera picked up a heat signature. Hello everybody, welcome to Truth Proof, and today we've come to Flamborough Head. Hopefully we're going to visit Thornwick Bay and North Landing. We're going to be talking an incredible UFO photograph, a strange occurrence where the cove of North Landing lit up, and amongst other things, a UFO report from 1974, and general talk about the origins of the unexplained lights that have been appearing on and off the coast of eastern North Yorkshire long before I would imagine that man first started documenting them. But we'll touch on them today. And I'm with the Bobster. There he is, look. Keep him on lead because we're on edge of some pretty steep cliffs. Or we will be shortly. Hopefully there'll be a stile somewhere here and I'll not get trapped in a field, because that's what it's looking like. Let's have a look. Yeah, there's a stile or a gate. Here we go. And there's the North Sea out in front of us. And to my right, shortly you'll see the cove and North Landing. It looks like the fence has actually broke, so I can get under it. Okay. Keep him on lead as well, because these cliffs are dangerous. We know there's a fence there, but he's a bit of an escape artist, so we're not taking any risks. So we'll just walk along here. And for the first part of this, I want to tell you about a strange anomaly that myself and Peter saw involving light, and the second part involving something unseen that was actually, I believe, in the cove, and I think Pete thinks the same. I'll put the camera back on for a moment because I'm just heading down into what's called Holmes's Gut, which is Holmes's Gutter, but the locals know it as Holmes's Gut. Everything's a bit hilly and a bit rocky, but we've gone from UFOs to this now. So, take this jacket off in a minute. So I've arrived at the cove of North Landing, and I'm going to show you that now. And as you can see, there's the former lifeboat station in the distance there, and I don't know whether the camera will pick it up, but there's quite a few holidaymakers on the beach. It'll get busy in the summertime. But there's more than a few reports of strange anomalies on, in and around this cove. You know, and if I travel towards Thornwick Bay, which I will be doing on my journey back, I'll tell you about a few reports there. But I've come here, I've walked from Thornwick to this location to tell you about something strange that myself and Pete, who comes onto clifftops with us, saw several years ago in the cove of North Landing. And I've no explanation for it. And then I'm also going to tell you about an incredible photograph that was taken at North Landing on the car park, and we'll take things from there. Okay, so relatively free of people now, and what I want you to do is picture this looking down into that cove, and we'll jump back 5 or 6 years, and I'm here with Pete. If Pete's watching this, he'll know exactly what I'm going to talk about. And there's nothing unusual. It's night time, we've parked car lower down and we've walked up here. We're only people about, so you can see the lie of the land. You know, it was clear, star-filled night, and then all of a sudden, for no apparent reason, it just came from nowhere, the entire cove lit up. The surface of the water looked a silvery sheen, the inlets lit up, either side of the inlets lit up. And we couldn't understand it. It was one of those kind of jaw-dropping moments because there was nothing, but we're still looking for some explanation. We're expecting a helicopter to come round the headland, although it's an impossibility. We would have heard it, and even if it came round within seconds, it couldn't explain it lighting this inlet up at both sides, and that one over there, the little caves, the little indentations, which are big sea caves when you get into them. Everything was lit up. This wasn't a brief 1 second flash or a blink of an eye sighting. This one 9 or 10 seconds that we looked at it, and I'd got a camcorder on me, a Sony VX2100, and there's the jaw-dropping moment. I had no thoughts of taking a picture or taking some video footage, just looked at it. Once it was over, we stood there and we discussed what it could have been. We're looking around with no explanation for it. And you know what? I'm sure some of the residents in those chalets over there will know something about these kind of lights. But we carried on looking at it, and then, I don't know, a moment of time passed, 2 to 3 minutes, maybe 5. And it did it again. Once again, 8 to 10 seconds that we just stood looking at it. No video footage, nothing. Just caught us off guard. It was just so unusual. So, that cove. What do you think, guys? North Landing, 5 or 6 years ago. Probably 10:30 at night, nobody about, winter time. I've literally moved down from there probably 80 feet because I want to cover another story now that involves that old winding shed that used to pull the boats up, and that's going back probably 5 or 6 years. For this one, once again, there's myself and Pete, and we're up in the dark, nobody about, and a car came down that slip road there, and it parked between the banking and that little building. Just a normal hatchback car, and 3 people got out of it. 2 men, 1 woman and 2 dogs. I think there were a boxer dog and some kind of bull terrier breed, and they got out. The dogs were just milling around looking. There's no one else about. That old lifeboat station was all shut up. We're looking at about 10 p.m. at night. And they walked down towards the lifeboat station doors, and the dogs started acting peculiar. So where you can see that red circle there, the life buoy, they're barking at that grass bank, barking like mad, really getting agitated, as though there's something there. And these 3 people are stood near the lifeboat station doors looking, but there's nothing there. Then the dogs proceeded to go all the way down that slipway, barking, facing the grass bank. Then it was as though something had come onto the beach, and they ran down to the very cliff face down there, but facing the sea, and they were barking all the way along. And we found this peculiar, me and Pete. We couldn't work it out because there was nothing there, and we're just watching it, and these people obviously didn't know we were there. I think they were as bemused as we were. And obviously we lost sight of them under this little bit of cliff. You can't go too far because there's a little bit of an overhang. So eventually they made the way off the cliff, but the dogs did the same thing all the way along and all the way around, facing that grass bank. When they got up there to the car, the dogs are still barking, but then the barking, you see the shed, the white shed, and where the white shed faces down to the beach. They're at the top there on that little bit of hard standing, and they're barking down as though there's something behind it. And when I put the thermal camera on, there's a heat source, a large heat source, and I recorded a little bit of it. I'll try and find that footage. So we said we were going to talk about UFOs stroke UAPs, and I've ended up talking about this strange quirky incident that occurred with the 2 dogs and the 3 people. But nonetheless it is interesting. A little closer look at the slipway there, and where that car would have parked. And roughly you can see those 2 people, and the car would have parked in that little bit of an area. And no cars come down there usually, but this were late at night. So we'll move on. Just take you a little bit closer. So this is where the car would have parked. You can see that guy stood on the end there, but this is where the car would have parked, and over there is where the heat signature was. Let's just have a look, get a little bit closer down here, and there you can see it. There we go. And obviously the car parked there. They walked down to the front of the old lifeboat station, and they're looking down, and it's that grassy bank. The dogs were facing the bank, barking and moving sideways all the way down, Then they kind of followed it round the beach and along the beach. They'd seen something that we couldn't see. But incredibly, the thermal camera picked up a heat signature. I'm filming again, and I'm filming the actual cove now. And there's a very good reason I'm filming this cove. I think it's about 450 to 500 foot across, 800 foot long. And the reason is that probably 4 or 5 years ago, could be a little bit longer, a man called Brian Lancaster brought a party of students here to teach them time-release photographs. And whilst he's on the car park above, I've deliberately come down here because there's a lot of cars in today. They set up their cameras, and I think they'd got them set at 30-second exposures. And they're overlooking this bay. The idea is to gather as much light as possible, and you just take incredible pictures. I've got the picture, I'll be able to show you the picture. And whilst in this process, one of the cameras is set up, and whilst taking a picture during the night of this incredible bay and the sky in the background, a beautiful starlit night, one orange light appeared in the sky. Now this camera's gathering information, taking in light for 30 seconds. It appeared about 7 seconds in, and then I can't remember the exact process, but a second light appeared. And then just before it takes the picture, a third light appeared. So he's got the full 3 lights in the picture. And it's an important picture, I feel, because it tells us quite a lot. And as he correctly points out, on a photograph such as that one, if something had flown in the path, you would have seen the trail of it coming in and the trail of it leaving. But these objects are just solid, they just appear, they come from nowhere. And that's why I said I think it's an important picture, because Brian himself explained that he was baffled by it because the lights just appeared out of nowhere. 1 light, 2, 3, stationary. And when the photograph developed, all you'd got was 3 lights in the sky. No entry, no exit, which tells you that they're just appearing. These things are just appearing, but from where? And it is quite an incredible photograph. As I say, it was taken in the car park above, but I've actually come here because there's too many cars in this afternoon. But isn't that absolutely stunning? I think so. This is where they'd have set up their cameras to take that photograph, just here. And as you can see, it's pretty busy today. Well, you can't see because I'm not putting camera on it, but all that bay, all that cove, so that would have worked. Dead of night, party of photography students taking photographs. It were caught on 2 cameras actually, but one of the cameras only caught 2 lights. The other camera caught the full sequence of events. So let's head to Thornwick Bay. Flamborough. 1 road in, 1 road out. And here we go, towards Thornwick Bay. If time allows, we'll pick up on a couple more UFO related stories, and we'll see what's left of the day. Okay, it's a little outing for myself and the Bobster. Off we go to Thornwick Bay. What do you say, Bob? Bobby, what do you say? He don't say much, does he? So, half an hour later, bless a jacket and a jumper, we're arriving at Thornwick Bay. And when I get there, I'll talk about a few UFO related stories that have occurred in, on and around this little cove. So we'll pick this up shortly, guys. Catch you soon. What do you say, Bob? Hey? He don't say much, does he? Nice big camera. I've approached the owner of the camera a few times because I think I could get plenty of people that would contribute a bit of money every week, every month to observe what that camera potentially could film out over Thornwick Bay. But not to worry, it's a no-go and I'm not going to pursue it anymore. You kind of know when you're flogging a dead horse. And this one is not much different to North Landing. So this is Thornwick Bay, and it's down there, between the upper chalk and the grass at the top, that Andy Barmby saw the huge gold globes that were out to sea, set off the cliff face out to sea when he was fishing down there during the night. How many people does it take before people actually realise the reality of what I'm talking about? I don't know. Let's keep going. Let's have another look at this bay. Andy would have been down there fishing. I'm not going to get too close to edge, but it'd have been down there. That's spectacular, isn't it? So he's down there fishing for bass in the night, looks across the cove, and the orange lights switch on. He observes them, and it's not a blink of an eye. It's a few minutes sighting, and then they switch off. He says that they were as big as motor cars, big amber globes. So what do you think of that? And then he carries on fishing after they've switched off. Half an hour passes, 10 minutes, I don't actually know the time span, but they come back on. And he's left feeling a little bit unnerved. And he decides that it's time to leave. Climbs up the cliffs, gets to his vehicle, there's nobody around. And he says that he can still see them. This is a long sighting. They've stayed on long enough for him to get all the way back up there to his car, pack his fishing tackle away. And as he's driving away, they're still there. He says he regrets now not driving round and looking from over the top. Perhaps it's just as well he didn't. Now you're getting a slightly better view of the cove from the side. And I think the tide's coming in, look. And you can basically, there's not as many people on this beach. It's not as popular as North Landing, but it's still good. So, two orange globes. It's a fascinating sighting between the upper chalk and the top of the grass, midpoint, out to sea. And he's looking at them. He can see that they're definitely not on the cliff, they're out to sea. And now I'm gonna go over there, so I'm going up that bank there, and I'm going to share a rather complicated sighting. Come on, Bob. So we're off down there. These steps look like they've seen better days, don't they? So I think we're going to go down and avoid the steps. Come on, Bobby. He knows. I'll let Bob lead the way because, as I've said many times, he's part goat. Mountain goat, of course. Or pygmy goat, I'm not sure which, but he's definitely part goat. Aren't you, Bob? Look at him, he's so powerful. But be careful he don't pull me over. This is naughty. I don't know whether to go down onto the beach and just let him have a little play before heading up there to tell the final UFO story. And this one is quite complicated. So I've brought a little bit of paper with me, which I was given, that describes the strange events of 1974. But you might have to wait for that because I think Bob's leading me to the beach. Am I right, Bob? Look at this. He knows where he wants to go. Look at that. So we'll go down here. We might have to change battery in this, Bob. I'm not certain. Sludge, Bob. You know what that means? You guys know what that means, don't you? Sink when he gets in. Come on. Although we're a channel about unexplained phenomena, it's good to let this little dog have a play and just show you some of the locations. You know, during the summer months, this beach gets very busy. But there you go. Let's have a look. I were hoping to go into that cave, but I'm not going to be able to. So you're going to see some action now, no doubt. This is quite a dynamic little dog, aren't you? What are you looking for, Bob? Some of this? Look at that, Bobby. Here. Wow, look. Look at that. He's like lightning. What do you think, Bob? Look at them. We'll just watch little Bob for a moment. Look at him. Listen to that, sucking the grit through its teeth. How good is that? And think of the people that have been down here fishing and the potential for what they've seen. Do you know, there's a cave there. We're not going to be able to show you it today, but on a low tide you can get through to the other side. Obviously, at high tide you get cut off. You'd be trapped in that little bay till the tide went out. Look at this. Because this, as you can see, is coming in now. So Bobby's at the shoreline and he's practically an aquatic hound. He's not getting caught by those waves again. He knows better than that. Here we go. What do you think, Bob? It's not advisable down here, is it, you know, to be in the water. Lots of strong currents. When we get back up there and onto the top. What do you say, Bob? Yeah? He's not got a lot to say for himself. We'll catch you guys when we get to the top. And then we'll tell this unusual UFO story. Come on, Bob. I hope the camera can pick this haze up because it looks really, really nice. Where's my little mountain goat? There he is, look. The Pathfinder. Absolutely brilliant. Wait, Bob. Just want to show you the journey. I've got a bit of a sweat on here and I've got to go now back down there under what would have been the bridge and up there. All of this for a story about strange lights. I must be mad. Come on, down here. Okay, let's go. Here we go. How good is that? I don't know what they call this gutter, but the one at North Landing, as I've said, is Holmes's gutter. And this one is just called Wearing Out Paul gutter. Come on, we've done some miles today, mate. Get going. Well, we made it to the top. I'm very hot. Picked a good day for this. And we'll be going back down the same way, as you can see. But I've had to come this way because I want a view of Bempton Cliffs, because it's important in the retelling of the story. And you'll see why when we get into it. So let's move on a little further and we'll see if we can make sense of it. It's a strange story and I feel that there's no better way to retell it than to use the diagram that I was given from the incident back in 1974. I'll get it as accurate as I can, and you're going to see the cliff face and all of the surrounding sea, and still won't make sense to you. Makes no sense to me. We're going over there onto this bit of grassland. Come on, Bob. So when I was down on the beach earlier, I told you about that inlet, that if you stayed in it you would get cut off until the tide went out. And this is it from the other side. So at the other side of that is the beach that we were on a short time before. And over the years erosion's forged an hole through the cliffs and you can get through at low tide. But obviously the tide creeps up on you and you could get stuck. And I suppose on a big tide you could even be in grave danger. But we're not so silly. But I'm heading towards an area where I need to be, as I've just said, to retell this story. And I need a view of the mighty cliffs of Bempton and Speeton. And how spectacular is that? And as you see, I've come armed with this little bit of paper, which you guys can see there, and that's what was given to me. So we're going back to Monday the 23rd of April 1973. And obviously it's not going to take us that long, but it involved a man who was delivering parts to the gas rigs. So he's on the boat, fairly substantial boat, and it's delivering supplies to the gas rig. And as it's out here crossing the bay, and it's about 6 miles out from Bempton and Speeton cliffs. I mean, look at those cliffs, they're just spectacular. We're not getting any closer today. They became aware of two green lights on top of the cliffs. This is the night time, there's two green lights on top of the cliffs. And they're at eye line, you know, on top of the cliffs. And then they see three green lights above the cliff top. And they're in the shape of a triangle. I don't know if you can see that, guys. Maybe not. They're in the shape of a triangle. So it's unusual to start with. There's no tail lights from vehicles, there's nothing like that. So you've got three green lights in the form of a triangle above the cliffs and two green lights just on the cliff top along the path at eye line. There's a white glow on the cliff face that appears to be coming from the sea. But there's nothing, there's no discernible boats out at sea. There's nothing below these cliffs. I mean, look at this. You don't get below these cliffs, you know, unless you're in a little boat, and then it's quite treacherous. But these coves that I've just shown you, they're the only ones that you can actually get down to. These are inaccessible. So there's a white glow that's lighting the face of the cliff top, but there's no visible source or point of origin for the white glow, which is unusual, isn't it? Let's face it. But I've just told you about the cove at North Landing lighting up for me and Pete 5 or 6 years ago, and that lit up for 8 to 10 seconds twice within 5 to 10 minutes with no discernible light source to tell us where it were coming from. This is no different, and that's what the man in the ship delivering parts to the oil rigs claims he saw. But then it becomes even more bizarre, because if three green lights in the form of a triangle aren't enough, and two green lights that look like they could be on the cliff path, he then tells me that there's two blue lights on the cliff face, and they're going up and down in this spiralling pattern. Can you see that, guys, where my thumb is? They're going up and down, and he estimates that they're about 15 foot high, and that's the blue lights. And there's a green light spinning at the side of the blue lights. So this is fascinating, isn't it? This guy's seen these about 6 miles out, and the blue lights are about 6 foot in diameter. He says it was at 1:09 a.m. in the morning, and it just passed Flamborough Head. So there we are, guys. He's just passing Flamborough Head, and when you get past Flamborough Head, the first cliffs you see are these. And I don't believe that there's some kind of Coast Guard exercise taking place. There's too much activity, there's too many lights and strange anomalies mixed in for it to be anything like that. It's a very legitimate sighting from a reliable source. This guy was actually delivering parts to the rigs. And then to add even more strangeness to the mix, he says that there's two sheep in the water. Now remember, he's 6 miles out. Two sheep in the water, can you read that? He spelt throats wrong, but there you go. 1973. Is that not absolutely incredible? I think it is. We've walked today to North Landing, to Thornwick Bay. We've covered a strange presence that the dogs picked up in North Landing. We've talked about Andy Barmby's sighting. We've talked about the supply ship delivering parts to the rigs, seeing some strange quirky anomaly, as well as the light forms out at sea. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. What is the potential for some other life form, some other intelligence to reside below the surface of the sea? To me, the sub-universe, this submerged universe that we know very little about, is probably one of the places where true unexplained phenomena that's subsurface as well as land-based and air-based is residing. So what do you think? Strange globes of light on the cliffs at Thornwick Bay. An unusual presence that the dogs picked up at North Landing. I've got a few frame captures at least. If I can find the footage, I'll put it up. UFO activity. An incredible photograph taken from North Landing. And Do people still roll their eyes and shake their heads? I don't know. It really is a strange one. But guys, nothing would surprise me with the strange things that are seen and experienced. And let's not forget, this is a busy tourist and holiday resort during the summer months. So for the people that say, well, how come other people aren't seeing them? A lot of these reports are coming from other people. They're not coming from Paul Sinclair. I'm just relaying them. And I enjoy doing it because it proves to me and anybody with half a brain that there's something highly unusual presenting and being seen at times in, on and around these cliff tops and further inland. But today we'll concentrate on North Landing and Thornwick Bay. We'll pick this up shortly. Come on, Bobby. There's the cove that people have come round into at low tide and got stuck when the tides come in. And what did I say? If you got trapped in that cove, you'd have to wait till the tide went out again before you could get back round. But looking at it, you'd be in trouble. I mean, the water's coming right up and I don't think it's high water yet, and that's filling that cove. I'm glad I'm not down there. Look at this, the fence once extended out over there. All this will land, but erosion's taken a lot of this cliff down with it, so we're going round here. And come on, Bob, let's go down here. Here we go. Come on, Bob. Back the way we came and to the car. So all in all, it's been a good day, hasn't it, Bob? He's shown his marine skills and his climbing abilities. And what we're doing here, I don't think they're steps, are they, Bob? Give up. He's after having me over. Come on. Here we go. Let's get up here. Stop. We're not going back down there, Bob. What do you think? Hey? Have we had a good day? We had a good day, haven't we, mate? Yeah. He's still got designs on going back out there. And although he's practically an aquatic dog, I don't think he'd fare long out there, do you? Okay, let's get back to the car. There we go. And we're at the top. So today, from Flamborough Head and Thornwick Bay, Truth Proof's going to say thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed listening. Press the like and subscribe. We'll catch you guys next time. Bye bye.
Winds blow cold across the sea. Watch the swell mesmerize me. Swirling clouds pass over me. Shadows fall, darkness is free. Somber skies, they come alive. Watch the waves crash and collide. Somber skies, they come alive. Watch the waves as they crash and collide. In the eye of the storm, stood watching it all. Time stands still. In the eye of the storm, stood watching it all. Time stands still.